So this lecture 14 on digital image processing, we will divide it into different parts because we will not be able to cover it in single go. So in part 1 today, we will be specifically dealing with radiometric corrections. So these radiometric corrections, they will correct an image for variations arising due to illumination, or how they receive electromagnetic radiation, or how the sensor is behaving to electromagnetic radiation. These do not have anything to do with geometry of image. For example, you studied some distortions in geometry can be carried out due to curvature of earth or due to sensor craft motion. So those corrections are not carried out due to radiometric. These are related to illumination or electromagnetic radiation related defects that might be there in the image, or noise might be there in the image. So you have to correct for those, or you have to enhance the image. So first of all, what is image processing? So image processing, each and every one of you are using image processing in your daily lives. When you capture an image using your cell phone, and when you see it on the screen, it is a processed image, it is not a raw image. Even if you don't put any filters or you don't apply an enhancement, still there is some pre-processing which is going on behind the scenes. Another place where processing is always happening is in your brains. So in your brains, if your eye is there and radiation is coming in your eyes and you're forming an image behind the lens on your retina, and if an object is upright, actually on your retina image is formed inverted. So your brain has to sense, it has to make sense that world does not appear upside down to you. And another thing, there is a blind spot right here where there are no cells, because here the nerves are attached. So this is blind spot. So no light is detected at the blind spot. So if there was no image processing going on, how will the scene appear to you? So your brain will think there is a hole here, and in rest of the image there may be some objects. So your brain is processing the image on daily basis. For example, when people look telescopes also form this inverted image, and your brain is trained to invert the image. So what will happen if you're, let's say, viewing with a telescope? So an object will appear inverted, so the telescope will invert the object, then your eye will again invert it, so it will appear like this. Now your brain is trained to view objects like this. So in pre-processing, this is inverted to this final stage in brain. Here when it goes to brain will invert it, object will appear, so this object will appear upside down if you're viewing in telescope. But if you keep viewing through telescope for a long duration of time, so let's say, then your brain readjusts, so that if you keep wearing these glasses which invert the images for, let's say, few hours, slowly and slowly your brain gets trained to invert them again. So brain is flexible also. So this experiment you can carry out yourself. If you look through a telescope, all the scene will appear inverted. But if you keep looking through telescope for few minutes sometimes also, so your brain will automatically be adjusted to view the inverted image again as upside down. So this image processing is happening in human body, it is happening in your cell phone cameras every day, and we carry out in remote sensing also, because the raw images that you acquire, they may not be best suited for interpretation. So enhancing an image or correcting for defects and extracting information or features from an image, all these processes come under image processing. So nowadays image processing is very well established, and what we call is not just image processing, it is digital image processing. If you capture photographs using films, they are very difficult to process after they have been created, whereas if they are in digital format, images are very easy to process. So, and computerized functions for information extraction, so you already have some computerized functions also. So image processing involves pattern extraction, classification from remotely sensed image. So you can automatically detect some patterns in the image even without human involvement. That part is known as image classification. For example, when you put your images on Facebook can automatically detect these days based on the facial features that this photo belongs to a certain person. So that also comes under shape recognition or pattern recognition. Then digital image processing has become more accessible due to revolution in the field of computers. So nowadays computers are very fast, so we can carry out digital image processing on a large number of images. Now this is quickly few slides where you can show how image is varying. So this image, if it is a color image, it will be composed of three primary colors: red, blue and green, RBG or RGB, usually what you write, red, green and blue. So even if like you take pictures in your laptop or your camera, you can actually see image statistics in form of a histogram. So you know this whole image is divided into a number of smaller pixels. So the ones I have drawn here are pretty large, but it is composed of very small sized pixels. So then how do you get a color image? So to get a color image, you actually need information for each pixel value in three bands. So you need for red band, you need for green band, and you need for blue band. So you have three, actually you have information for three images. You have three images and then you superimpose those. So red, green and blue channels you will require, and then you superimpose them in different density, and each of these, red will have certain pixel value, green will have certain pixel value, these can vary. So for example, if this is 0, this is 0, and this appears to be, let's say your image is from 0 to 255, it has maximum value 255, then the image will appear red. Whereas if you mix green and red, it might appear yellow. If let's say instead of 255 value, it has 120 and it also has 120, they don't have to add up to 255. So 255 will be maximum brightness, so then that will appear yellow in color. So this image is now formed of three colors. So this is what is shown here, histogram of all these colors. So you see blue values here, they are more bright, and red is very less, and in the middle you have green. So that is why this image is mostly bluish in color. So blue colors have very high brightness values in here, and to the red channels here you have least brightness, so they are given less values. So your combination will be these. So and another thing, these red colors are also, they will appear darker. Now one thing that you notice in this image is there is nothing in this region. So this region, so there are very few pixels in the image which are dark in color. So everything is illuminated. You see even here you have some brightness values, so nothing is dark as such in this image. Now that is why this image has very less contrast is not good. So what you can do here is you can process this image so that you can digitally modify this, so that you can extend this red histogram, for example, to this range. Similarly, you can extend the green histogram to this range, and you can extend the blue histogram also. So now you are making use of all the possible values. So possible values can vary from 0 to 255. Here maybe they are varying just, so minimum values that you see are close to, let's say, 100 or 20 or 110. Let's assume it to be 110. So in processing, what you'll say anything which is 110, make it 0. So in this way you'll stretch this histogram, and that will increase your contrast. So this is what I have done myself in my laptop only. So I enhance the contrast so that these values are also captured. Now you see the difference between these two images. So now you'll, because you see these values, so here the blue colors are now darker in color. So you see more dark values. So if you look at anything, look at this tree trunk here. It is not very dark here, it is darker here, even the water. So now you are making use of whole histogram. You can do this further also. You can make it these just image processing, you can make these darker values more frequent. So in histogram, this will be frequency and these are digital values. So here I'm just changing frequency. So now there are frequencies, just here will be number of pixels over total pixels. Even if you don't divide, it will be the histograms will appear same. So number of pixels. Now a lot of number of pixels have brightness which is less, so they are less bright values also. You see now the original image and this image, you can see the contrast between all these three images. So as I'm increasing darker values, I am stretching my histogram, the contrast is increasing. So now I have bright areas as well as I have dark areas. So this is just an example of what is image processing. We will study these in detail when we complete this lecture. So this is what is included in digital image processing. These types of processes, they are very easy to carry out in digital images, but they are not so easy to carry out in photographs that are captured using films. Now first we should understand, we are dealing with pixels and all those things. What are digital images? So digital images, in digital images, each point or unit area of the image is represented by an integer digital number. So first we will just consider black and white images, because colored images are nothing. They are just combination of black and white images in different wavelengths or different primary colors, red, green and blue. You can mix them and you can get any color. So we'll only understand black and white images. So in a digital image, each point or area, so here for example this area is represented by a value which is 0. So the lowest intensity, is assigned digital number of 0 and highest is assigned the highest digital number possible. So highest number possible, that depends upon you, whether you want a 2-bit image or you want 8-bit image, you want 7-bit image or you want 10-bit image. So it will vary. So here for example I only have a 2-bit image. You don't really use these. This will not give you a true representation of a scene, because in 2-bit image you can have only 0 to 2 to the power 4 minus 2 to the power 2 minus 1 values. So 2-bit means 2 to the power 1, sorry, 2 to the power 2, because it is 2-bit. So this will be the 2. This will give you 4 values. So only 4 values are possible: 0, 1, 2, 3. So these 4 values are possible. So anything which is dark or almost black will get a value 0, and anything which is brightest, so brightest portions of the image will get value 3, and some things which are in between will get intermediate values. For example, if it is dark gray, it gets 1. If it is light gray, it gets 2. You can encode these images not just in 2-bit. For example, if instead of 2-bit you use 4-bit, then you will get 2 to the power, if it is 4-bit instead of 2-bit, you will get 2 to the power 4, which is 16. Now you can get 16 possible values, which will be 0, 1, 2 to 15. So this is how you encode black and white images using digital numbers. So this is just one image which is I'm just enhanced a part of an image. So here the further values are not possible. So you see this white color is assigned the maximum, highest or maximum digital number possible, which in this case is 3. So digital number range used in a digital image depends on number of bit data. So how many number of bit data you have. So bits are 0 to 1. So in computers we used binary. So that is why digital range possible will usually be 2 to the power or number of bits that you use. So for 1 it is 2 to the power 1. So the total number is 2, 0 and 1. So it goes up to, always it will go up to 2 to the power number of bits minus 1, because you are including 0. So if you are including 0, that final maximum number you have to not include, or you have to exclude it. So for example, 2 to the power 1 will give you 2. The total scale will be 2, so it will be 0 to 1. Similarly, 2 to the power 2 will give you 4 and scale will be 0 to 3. 2 to the power 3 is 8 and it will give you 0 to 7 range. So you can go on 2 to the power 7. These are more common actually. 2 to the power 8 is most common type of image that you will see, which has range of 0 to 255. You can have a 9-bit number also, which will give you 0 to 512 or 512 scale and 0 to 511 range. So most of the scenes, most of the images, they are 0 to 255 in range. But if you want to capture further details, you can go further, you can go beyond this. But sometimes it is not really important to capture all the details, because if your image processing tasks will become very slow if your bit number increases, so your slow computation. Another thing is, a lot of some small variations, they are not really variations in data, they can be noise also. So if you're capturing everything, your image will appear more noisy. So it is this is usually the standard that you can normally capture images in. Now, so here we studied different ranges. So remember, when we saw this image, our range was 0 to 3, so 4, that is 2 to the power 2. So this is a 2-bit image. So how will it vary? Now I have given here example of a 2-bit image and a 1-bit image. So this is a 2-bit and this is 1-bit image. So 1-bit image will have how many values? 2 to the power 1 equals 2. So only 0 and 1 are possible. So anything which appears brighter than a threshold will appear will get number 1, and which is black will get number 0. So there will be no shades of gray in this image. It will either be black or it will be white. So this here is appearing black for now, and this 2-bit image is 2-bit image will have 2 to the power 2 equals 4 values. So 4 values will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So let's say your image is appearing like this in 4-bit. So darker areas will get 0 values, bright areas will get 3 value, and those in middle will get 1 and 2. So 2 is lighter than 1, or 2 is brighter than 1, we can say that. Now what will happen if you are doing it in 2-bit image? Because intermediate values are not possible, so maximum value here is 3, white color. So 3 will become 1. Sorry, this I'll just write which 3 will become 1. So this 3 has become 1. Similarly, now 1 is maximum possible value. 2 will also become 1. Right here. Similarly, 0 will remain 0. That is the minimum value. And 1 will also become 0. Because only possible values are 0 and 1 now. So this image, if you convert a 2-bit image to 1-bit image, this is how it will appear. There will be no grayscale values. Of course, we don't, in real life, we don't use 2-bit or 1-bit images. We use mostly 8-bit images, so that you can capture. You see, here you cannot capture gray colors now. Gray. So in real world, images will not be exactly black or exactly white. They will have some shades of gray. So you cannot capture these shades of gray if you encode only 0 and 1. Now this is what I'm saying, multi-band format. So what you have is, instead, for example, if you're looking at if you have something which is a red screen, let's say, and you capture its image. So what will happen is, because it is only red, now you can have in detector. Remember, in multispectral images we had different types of detector. So there are red, green and blue. So here, because there is no blue light or green light coming, so these detectors will not be activated, green and blue, only red will be activated. So you will have, let's say if it is complete brightness and there is no green and red, so these red ones will be activated. They will have digital number of values of, let's say, all of them will have 255. It is a perfectly red screen. And green and blue will have, all will have 0 values. So the rest will have 0 values. So because this is only a red screen. But let's say if it is yellow, then red pixels will also be activated and green pixels will also be activated. Blue will not be activated because yellow light doesn't have any blue component. So if they both are activated, then in red and green pixels you will have certain values, and final image that you will get, it will appear yellow. And if you look at your screen, if you look at your screen under microscope, or what you can do is you can put a small drop of water, so your screen appears, even the screen of your cameras, how does it appear? Each pixel is actually, so if you divide your image like this, you can place your camera under a microscope, and under a microscope if you place, your pixels will appear something like this. You will not be able to, all your pixels will appear like this. So each pixel is actually composed of three LEDs, light emitting diodes. One LED emits only in red color, another emits only green color, and third emits only blue color. But brightness of this red LED and green LED and blue LED will vary depending on what values you have in these tables. So based on these values, it will light up corresponding to that intensity, and final color will be combination of these three. So this is all these values, all these will be, so if you, for example, here what is the color of the screen that we are seeing? It is white. So all this portion here is white in color. So what is happening due to white in color? How is white color formed? White color is formed by equal combination of red, green and blue. So all of them are lit up, red, green and blue, with equal intensity. At this point, red has more intensity, so this red LED will be lit up, whereas green and blue LED will be closed down. And these, how much they have to lit up, will depend on what values you have in this table. Now concept of what is lookup table. Lookup table, you can sometimes get a direct question, 5-mark question in GSI examination, write a note on lookup table. So lookup table is nothing. So you have your hard disk drive where your image is stored, let's say it is stored at certain location, and finally you have your computer screen. So this is your computer. So in the middle, in the CPU, you'll have certain table which is called lookup table. So what is happening every time, let's say image, sometimes what will happen, you will apply one filter, then you apply another filter, so image keeps on changing, but you also remember what was the actual image. So the actual image is actually stored in the hard disk. So but these pixel values, so you'll be storing them in a table which is known as lookup table, because in this table what will happen, you'll have two things. So on one side you will have indices or indexes, and on other side you will have values. Indices are nothing but row number and column number. For example, you can say this is first pixel, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13, 14, 15, 16. So here you can have these indexes 1, 2, 3, 4. So in this table up to 16. So what is the value of each of these? So maybe it's 5, 4, 200, 160. So these values will be there in this table. So you have indices and values, and when you do digital image processing, you change them here, you don't change them in the hard disk. So in this way, here it allows you for faster capabilities, and anywhere you want to make correction. So if you want to change image value of this, so it will directly go to the 6th pixel and see what it is value and make a change over there. So this is how lookup tables work. Now in DIPs, digital image processing, what are the main techniques that we use? First one are radiometric correction, which is the topic of discussion for this lecture. Then there are geometric corrections. So radiometric correction we already discussed. They deal with electromagnetic radiation, variations in electromagnetic radiation, intensity variations, maybe some radiance effects, all those things. Geometric image corrections include, for example, if you acquire an image from an inclined angle, the perpendicular faces may not remain perpendicular, or this, or there may be perspective effect, aspect ratio may not be preserved. All those things will come under geometric correction. Then there are other things, image registration we'll study. When we come to those topics, we'll understand what these are. Image enhancement, image filtering, image transformation, color enhancement, fusion, data visualization, and image segmentation and classification. These are these days done due by machine learning. So most important topics that you have to study are colored in red, and still most important of these are these two only: radiometric image correction and geometric image correction from examination point of view. In real life, all of them are important. So now first thing then in digital image processing that you have to study is point operations and local operations. Now point operation is something, let's say I think this value 3, it it looks like it should not be there. So there is some problem with it, because here I'm seeing certain values and 3 is suddenly too bright. So I make, if input digital value is modified at a particular pixel, so I change this value, then let's say I make it 0. I say it should be 0. There is some error here, it should not be 3, it should be 0. Then that is a point operation. But if I decide the value of this pixel based on these values here, so I take, let's say, average of these and then take an integer of this. So 1 plus 1 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2, and then maybe how many pixels are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 divided by 5. And what kind of value? So I'll get 4, 6 by 5, which is approximately equal to, let's say, 1. So I give value 1. So when you assign a value based on surrounding pixel, so surrounding pixel can be next to it, you can include these also. So that is what you will decide. You'll have to decide yourself how many pixels you want to include. So those will come under local operation. So you have point operation and local operations.